This guy, Nhat Thien. On his very first day at school, he was bullied by the class bully. "You haven't paid the protection money, bro. But it's fine, the chicken leg is still tasty." But it was this very chicken leg that changed Nhat Thien's life forever. He grew up in a single-parent family. Since he was young, he never had a father. The two of them lived together, relying on each other day by day. So, he was constantly bullied by neighbors and friends. To help him pass his graduation exams, his mother and Nhat Thien moved to the port. But this time, they never expected that a chicken leg would change his life. On his very first day at school, Nhat Thien received a letter. He opened it to read. It was a threatening letter from the class bully, Chun Sheng. He demanded that Nhat Thien pay $500 in protection money at the port the next morning. At lunch, Chun Sheng casually ate other people's food. No one dared to speak up, as if they were used to it. As Chun Sheng continued his lunch, he suddenly noticed the chicken leg. He saw Nhat Thien's giant chicken leg. "Hey, new kid, you haven't paid your protection money. But it's fine, you can pay with the chicken leg." And Nhat Thien's chicken leg was snatched away by him. This time, Nhat Thien wasn't going to give up. Chun Sheng immediately blocked his way after school. Knowing something bad was coming, Nhat Thien quickly ran. They saw him running and chased after him. When they reached the foot of the bridge, one of them threw a marble and hit Nhat Thien's head. The six of them surrounded him. Even though the opponents were many and took turns rushing at him, Nhat Thien wasn't an easy target. He dodged expertly, making them more and more frustrated. But after dodging 69 times, he took a punch. He quickly grabbed his sandals and kept running. Every move of Nhat Thien was being watched by Dragon Lee, the son of a local gang leader. The next day at school, Dragon Lee blocked his way and asked, "Want to be friends?" So, Nhat Thien has joined Dragon Lee's gang. As the leader, the first thing Dragon Lee did was to take revenge for his brothers. Let me inform you. From now on, Nhat Thien's problems are also my problems. His enemies are my enemies. These words made Nhat Thien feel so moved. Afterward, Ah Sai took out a piece of paper and handed it to Little Wolf. "Is this your doc?" To help Nhat Thien get his revenge, Dragon Lee brought the bullies up to the rooftop. Since childhood, he had never fought anyone, so he didn't dare to strike. Nhat Thien stepped forward and said to him, "If you keep being weak like this, you will always be bullied." That sentence encouraged his courage. That afternoon, he skipped class with his brothers. Now, he only knows how to fight. With righteous spirit, expanding their territory with his brothers, defeating other gangs. They built up the gang's reputation, calling it Tai Tu, Crown Prince. Nhat Thien, a weak boy who was constantly bullied, had now become a brave person. He transformed into someone completely different. Dragon Lee, the son of a notorious gang boss, had always been a boy with a say. Wherever he went, his brothers followed. Nhat Thien, since childhood, had been incredibly smart. In one exam, he could do 4 papers. He passed every time, IQ 169. Moreover, these two brothers were also no ordinary people. Not long after, the whole group swore brotherhood. They founded the Tai Tu gang, promising to always be brothers, sharing the good and the bad together. When Nhat Thien returned, his mother had been waiting for him for a while. Since he skipped school too much, the school had sent a notice to their home. His mother was furious. But if it weren't for his brothers protecting him, Nhat Thien wouldn't have survived school. He understood his mother's good intentions, but he also knew the bond of brotherhood they shared. Therefore, it was hard for him to refuse. And he sat sadly, eating tofu pudding on the street. "Happy birthday. How did you guys know my birthday?" Then, Nhat Thien got on the motorbike, and the group took him shopping. They bought him his favorite floral shirt, and they took him to the best bar at the harbor. Then the biggest gift was asking him to buy squid soup, not forgetting to remind him to buy the squid soup for the Prince Gang. Nhat Thien asked. The owner gave 5 squid soups to take for the Prince Gang? 5 squid soups for the Prince Gang, right after paying. Damn it, those Prince Gang members, don't let them run away, take care of them. Then Nhat Thien was surrounded and chased all over the street. He almost got run over by a car. That was the most memorable birthday gift Nhat Thien would ever have. A few days later, Dragon Lee took the group to his house for a party. While they were eating, a subordinate brought a newspaper to get up. Dragon Lee's father was eating and reading the newspaper. Then he used his chopsticks to pick something up. Nhat Thien was curious. He leaned over to grab some food and wanted to see what it was. To his surprise, it was a finger. The owner of that finger was Chun Sheng's father. Chun Sheng wanted revenge for his father. He had quietly made a plan. That night, Dragon Lee went to have a drink with his girlfriend. But after a while, she got angry and left. Because she didn't want Dragon Lee to fight anymore. But Dragon Lee definitely couldn't listen to her. Seeing this, Chun Sheng immediately chased after her. He claimed to be Dragon Lee's friend. Then he tricked her into a dark alley. He took out a knife and threatened her. When Dragon Lee found out that his girlfriend had been humiliated, he had his men block and capture Chun Sheng. They tortured him. Chun Sheng wouldn't confess. Hong Tien brought out super glue. If you don't confess, I'll glue your mouth shut, what can you do? Hong Tien glued Chun Sheng's mouth shut. Dragon Lee still wasn't satisfied. He wanted to glue his eyes shut too. Hong Tien tried to stop him. But in the end, Hong Tien personally compromised. He directly made him blind. He did that just to teach him a lesson. Unexpectedly, the next day when Nhat Thien brought food, Chun Sheng was already dead. It's possible that Hong Tien got too much glue on him, which ended up in his nose, causing his death. Dragon Lee's father was also very angry. He punished the 5 of them while lecturing them. Hong Tien was very loyal. He took the blame for his 4 brothers. Geta was furious. You're really something, you're good, you're impressive. He beat him until he could no longer stand up. The others could only stand there and endure. Afterward, Hong Tien had to lie in bed. Geta's father and brothers came to visit. Seeing Hong Tien beaten so badly, they brought up the past. Previously, Hong Tien's father had been harmed by Dragon Lee's father. He had his arm severed. He was robbed of his position as the leader. Now, they were trying to kill his son. Hong Tien accidentally overheard these words. That's when he began to plan his revenge. To escape after this incident, Geta took them to the mountains. Then the 5 brothers began to follow a disciplined routine. They trained in martial arts daily. When they first arrived on the mountain, their master beat them senseless. After a while, they quickly mastered both martial arts and weaponry. The 5 brothers learned quickly. While training, one of them wondered why they didn't use guns. Geta immediately came over and patted his head. Guns are the devil's tools from the West. They are meant for cowardly and fearful people. To prove that you belong in the underground world, you must rely on your fists and knives. Got it? That was the final lesson Geta gave during their training. Afterward, Dragon Lee's older brother was released from prison. He didn't plan for revenge. Instead, he introduced a man from another province named Grey Wolf. This was their first meeting. But soon after, Grey Wolf came to meet Geta for the second time. They discussed importing guns for business and profit. They planned to expand with other bosses. Geta had always hated guns. He immediately showed his disapproval. But in the end, Grey Wolf was able to cooperate with Van Keem. To establish a foothold here, they must deal with the 2 largest gangs in the area. These are the Prince Gang led by Geta, and the Coco Gang led by Masa. Van Keem immediately thought of Hong Tien. Hong Tien already hated Geta deeply. Now, Van Keem added fuel to the fire, and he agreed. But his only condition was that no harm should come to his 4 brothers. Not long after, Masa, the leader of the Coco Gang, was assassinated with a gun. At the funeral, Geta brought his subordinates to pay respects. Although they didn't catch the culprit, Li Trung from the Coco Gang was suspected. Because after Masa's death, Li Trung also disappeared. That night, someone brought news that Li Trung had been seen near the harbor. The boss immediately sent his subordinates to search. What they didn't expect was that as soon as the subordinates left, 4 uninvited guests arrived, saying they came to pay respects to Masa, but wanted to take him to meet his ancestors. The boss was no ordinary man. He took on all 4 alone, but he couldn't avoid being injured. At that moment, Nhat Thien, who was nearby, heard the gunshots. He rushed over immediately, but Geta had already been taken down. The boss couldn't believe he had died from the very weapon he despised most. Since childhood, the 4 of them had seen Geta as their father. His sudden departure left everyone mourning. That night, Nhat Thien and Bok Bok shared their thoughts, suspecting Van Keem was the murderer. However, when Nhat Thien fell asleep, Bok Bok went to Van Keem's turf for revenge. As the door opened, a gun was pointed directly at his head. The next day, Bok Bok was severely wounded, lying motionless. And so, the 5 brothers had now lost one of their own. Later, Nhat Thien went to find Grey Wolf. It turns out Grey Wolf was the ex-lover of his mother. He feared something might happen to him, so he asked Grey Wolf to take care of his mother. Then he advised Nhat Thien to run away because he was still young and had a future. After careful consideration, Nhat Thien decided to go into hiding. On the way to say goodbye to Grey Wolf, he accidentally discovered Hong Tien teaming up with Grey Wolf and Van Keem. He felt enlightened, realizing the cause of Geta's death. It was highly likely related to Hong Tien. That night, he went to say goodbye to his mother for the last time. Then he went to the meeting place. This place used to be where they made a blood oath, but now they had to part ways. At this moment, Grey Wolf secretly wanted to eliminate the other 4 brothers. He immediately ordered his subordinates to take care of it. Before they parted, Nhat Thien wanted all 4 brothers to light a final incense for Geta. While Hong Tien was praying, Nhat Thien suddenly held a knife to Hong Tien's throat. What are you doing? Did you kill Geta? This is where we once became brothers. And now you're holding a knife to my throat. But Nhat Thien began to doubt this brotherhood. If you have the courage, tell the truth. Under pressure, Hong Tien finally admitted that he had killed Dragon Lee's father. Dragon Lee couldn't believe that the brother he trusted the most was the very one who killed his father. At that moment, Van Kim arrived with his men. In the tense situation, Nhat Thien pulled out a knife and stabbed Nhat Thien in the leg. Nhat Thien turned around and saw his brothers being beaten badly. Van Kim rushed forward, ready to finish Dragon Lee. Nhat Thien rushed to cut off one of Van Kim's ears. In the urgent situation, everyone scattered in all directions. Nhat Thien went back to grab a gun. He accidentally saw a pool of blood spilled on the floor. He followed the trail of blood and found Dragon Lee curled up. Seeing things had escalated to this point, Nhat Thien spoke. "Everything I've done is for you." Then he left and hid in the shadows. He saw Nhat Thien looking for him. A gunshot rang out, causing Nhat Thien's waist to bleed. "Why don't you leave? Why do you have to force me, brother?" Nhat Thien didn't say anything and then spread his arms. He seemed to want to hug Nhat Thien. His actions moved Nhat Thien to tears. Without hesitation, he stepped forward to embrace him. At that moment, Nhat Thien handed him a knife. "Why do we, brothers, have to kill each other? I thought we would live and die together. But now, we have to fight each other. Did you think Geta was a good man? Back then, he cut off my father's hand to become the boss." When Nhat Thien was about to kill Nhat Thien, Dragon Lee arrived just in time. He held a knife and stabbed Nhat Thien to avenge his father. Dragon Lee had killed his own brother with his own hands. Meanwhile, Nhat Thien lay motionless. He remembered a smile that had made him fall in love for so long. In the end, they took Nhat Thien and left. And so, our film comes to an end. Monga is a powerful film about friendship, family, and growing up in the underworld of criminal gangs. The film deeply portrays values like loyalty, sacrifice, and the consequences of the choices we make in life. We must always be ready to face reality and the challenges that come with growing up. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everyone. See you again in the next films.